Hello and welcome back to the Wandering Wind Church. I am your digital video missionary, Gregory, and today I want to read day 23 of our Step 1 devotionals in the Life Recovery Devotional. First of all, I want to remind you that if you want to support the channel, there are links in the description of this video, some of which will lead you to the materials that we're using, which you can purchase, and I will get a little bit of a kickback at no extra cost to you. But also just subscribing and sharing these videos are helpful, because the more the message spreads, the more we're able to reach those that need the help the most. So today's reading is titled Breaking the Cycle, and our reading out of the Bible is Ecclesiastes 1 through 18. Step 1. We admitted that we were powerless over our dependencies and that our lives had become unmanageable. Human existence consists of a series of patterns. Our world goes around the sun in an unending orbit. It spins on its axis with tireless regularity. Dysfunctional family patterns seem to resurface generation after generation in a wearying march of repetitious pain. We may grow tired and wonder if there's really any escape from the merry-go-round of addictive behavior and suffering. King Solomon examined life and was discouraged by some of his observations. Generations come and generations go, but the earth never changes. The sun rises and the sun sets, then hurries around to rise again. The wind blows south and then it turns north. Around and around it goes, blowing in circles. Rivers run into the sea, but the sea is never full. Then the water returns again to the rivers. Everything is wearisome beyond description. No matter how much we hear, we are not content. Ecclesiastes 1:4 through 8. Life can seem like one meaningless, wearying cycle after another. Solomon observed that our lives can be spent without ever going anywhere. He also wrote these instructions: follow the steps of good men instead and stay on the paths of the righteous. Proverbs 2:20. Throughout the Bible, we see that life can be linear, leading somewhere, even though we are powerless to stop all the destructive cycles around us. We can take our own steps in the direction of recovery and a new way of life. Our efforts just add to the destructive cycles in life. Only God can break those cycles. And that is true for a lot of us. That is true for me. In my recovery journey, I found that doing the same thing again and again wasn't doing anything except for frustrating me and making me insane by expecting a different result with the same efforts. And that is true for a lot of us. If we get too focused on if we get too focused on just what we think we can control right now, we forget, and we often forego the idea that we can actually be restored through God's power. When we forget the idea that God is in control and not us, when we forget the truth of that idea, that the truth of that thought, we forget exactly how it is that we recover. We don't recover on our own power. We can't recover on our own power. We've proven it time and time again. The cycles of destruction keep adding up. But when we break that destructive cycle by trusting God's power over our own and trusting God's will over our own and turning our lives over to his power and allowing him to direct our steps and our thoughts and our actions, then we find that, you know what, it's not as hopeless as we like to think it is. Because once we see that even though our own efforts fail, God's efforts never fail, then we see exactly the power that God has in us to work and to will and to do good and great and amazing things in our lives. And then we see God's power made manifest. So whenever I think of the fact that, my previous life was filled with destructive cycles that kept on a repeating loop, I thank God for the power that He gives to break that cycle, break those chains, and continue moving forward despite my own inclination for repetitive cycles. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, for caring, for reading all of the stuff that I post. Again, we do not recover by leaps and bounds. We don't recover quickly or slowly, but rather at the pace God sets us on. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but always moving forward toward the goal of recovery and eventual peace in Christ. Day by day, we make an effort and make progress, never achieving perfection, never seeking perfection here on earth, but rather looking forward to God's perfection in us when we get to glory. Again, thank you so much for watching, listening, sharing, subscribing, and supporting the channel in any way possible. I am your digital video missionary, Gregory. And until next time, thank you for watching, and thank you for going on this journey of recovery with me through 360 days of devotions. Until next time, guys, I will see you guys again soon. God bless you, and take care as you continue on your journey.